continue here. Since we got cut out, I had to restart my recording. We started with number one. Number one here was x plus y equals negative 15. Our goal is to get the variable x all by itself. Or sorry, the variable y, I apologize, the variable y, the one that I circled. We want to get the variable y all by itself, so then it says y equals. So if I were to draw this line on the equal sign, let's pretend like that's my wall, and we're going to look on the same side of my wall. We're going to look on the left side, and what do we see that's next to the variable y? What do you see next to the variable y on the same side of that wall, on the left side? Go ahead and write in the chat, or you can turn your microphone on. What's on the same side of the variable y? What else do we see? What else do you see? Yeah, you can see that variable x. Okay, so that means we need to move that x to the other side. And to do that, you can kind of see your steps here. Step one was to subtract 4x from each side. The reason why we subtracted the 4x was because it was a positive 4x. So same thing here for number one. This is a positive x. So we're going to do the opposite of positive x, is negative x. Or another way to say that is minus x. So we're going to do the opposite to move it to the other side. So these cancel out. And then we can start simplifying. So now we have y equals, and we need to write out this negative 15 minus x. Can I combine those? Are they in the same family, or do I need to put them side by side? So in order for me to combine them, they both need to have the variable x, or they both need to have no variable x. So for this one, we're going to write them side by side. And when you do them side by side, when you're writing it in slope-intercept form, remember your equation is y equals mx plus b. The term that you're writing first is the one that has the x. So for this one, I'm first going to put my negative x, and then I'm going to put the negative 15. I just put them side by side. I have a sign in between the x and the 15 because it's negative. So I don't need to put anything else in there. There's already a sign written there. Now let's just double check. Are we done? Is everything finished, or do we need to do another step? Well, you can see here we have the y all by itself. It says y equals, and then we've got our negative x minus 15. This is written in the same format of slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. Okay, so let's just do a little bit of extra practice. Let's figure out what is in the same spot as m and what's in the same spot as b. Okay, we're going to look in the same spot as m. That's the number in front of x. The number in front of x here, since you don't see one, we know there's always an invisible one. So m is the number in front of x. And the number in front of x here is a negative 1. And then we're going to look in the same spot as b. Here's my b. So that means b is negative 15. Make sure you get that sign in front of it. That's just a little extra practice. Those should be like really easy. You shouldn't even have to think about it. The more we practice that, that's just going to come naturally to you, where m equals a number, b equals a number. Okay, going on to our next one here, number 2. Number 2, we have the 2y plus 8x equals 1. Our goal is to get the variable y all by itself. So first is subtract the term with the x. Which one has the x, the 2y or the 8x? Which one has the x? The 2y or the 8x? And the term with the x here is the positive 8x. So first we're going to move this to the other side by doing the opposite operation. Well, let's look at it. We have a positive 8x. What's the opposite of positive 8x? That is negative 8x. 8x, or minus 8x is another way to say it. So minus 8x on both sides, so this cancels out. And now let's simplify. Let's write our next line. We have 2y equals, and then we need to write out this 1 minus 8x. We know we cannot combine them because they're different. So we need to write them side by side. Remember, first is the one with the x, so first is the negative 8x, and then I'm going to write this positive 1. And since it's positive, you can put a plus sign in front of it. Okay, is the y all by itself yet on this line? No, because we have that 2 that's touching the variable y. What is that operation when it's 2 and y touching like this? How can you read that? 2, would you say, is that 2 plus y, 2 minus y, 2 times y, or 2 divided by y? How would you read that 2y? You can turn your microphone on, or you can type in the chat. How do you read that 2y? I need someone to answer me. How do you read that 2y? Is that 2 plus y, 2 minus y, 2 times y, or 2 divided by y? Awesome. I see someone typing. I'm going to let you finish. Awesome. Perfect. You read that as 2 times y. So in order to get rid of that 2, we're going to do the opposite of multiplication. Divide by 2. Then we're going to do it on the other side. When you do it on the other side, we're going to split it up. Divide by 2. You're going to do it under the negative 8 and under the positive 1. So these 2's cancel out. Now we can simplify. We have our y equals. Now let's look at this negative 8 divided by 2. Can you do negative 8 divided by 2? Can anyone else see my worksheet on the screen?
Yeah.
Yes, Ethan, go ahead and log out and rejoin. I'm thinking there might be a connection issue on your end. And hopefully it works. If it still doesn't work, then message me again. All right, so let's keep on going. The red circle, we had our negative 8 divided by 2. Let's simplify that. We have negative divided by a positive is negative, and then 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then you just bring down the variable x, don't lose it. Let's keep on going here. Next is this positive 1 divided by 2. Can we do 1 divided by 2 and get a nice pretty number with no decimal? For this one, no, you're going to end up with a decimal. So let's just leave this one as a fraction. We're going to leave it as that plus 1 over 2. Okay, so now it's in slope-intercept form because we have the y equals. We've got an x on the other side, and then our plus or minus our b. Let's write out our m equals and b equals. Remember, we're looking at y equals mx plus b. What is in the same spot as m? What's the number in front of x for number 2? Go ahead and write in the chat, or you can turn your microphone on to answer me. What's in the same spot as m? We're looking at same spot as m. That's the number in front of x. I see one answer. Can I get another answer? Anyone else? So far I see an 8, 4, 4. Okay, so what we're looking at is we're looking at this line here, the number in front of x for this one with the stars. And the number in front of x, yeah, it's a 4. But what's the sign in front of the 4? We have a negative sign in front of that 4. So m is actually a negative 4. Okay, so when you're looking at m, make sure you check and see if there's a negative sign there as well. So for number 2, m equals -4, and remember m is your slope. And then let's look at b, your y-intercept. B, what's in the same spot as b? Go ahead and write in the chat, or you can turn your microphone on. Awesome, the same spot as b is that fraction, the positive 1/2. Okay, so that one as well, make sure you look at the sign in front. B, your y-intercept is that 1/2 the 1/2. All right, let's keep on going. Number 3. We want to get the variable y all by itself, so we need to move the x to the other side. We're going to do the opposite operation. How can I move that -2x to the other side? What is the opposite of -2x? Go ahead and write in the chat. What is the opposite of -2x? So tell me, how can I get rid of that -2x? What should I do? I got one answer. Someone's typing. Awesome. We're going to do the opposite of -2x, which is add or positive 2x. So add 2x to both sides. So this cancels out. And then I'm going to bring down my variable y equals. And then I need to put these, the 1 plus 2x, we're going to put them side by side because we cannot combine them. Remember, we're writing y equals mx plus b. So the one that you're going to write first is the term with the x. So first is the positive 2x. And then we're going to put the positive 1. Okay, so when you write them all side by side, we have y equals 2x plus 1. Now it's in slope-intercept form. Let's write out m equals b equals. And what's in the same spot as m? Is it the 2 or 1? What's in the same spot as m? 2 or 1? What is the slope? Our slope m is positive 2. And then b, the y-intercept. What's in the same spot as b, our y-intercept? It's positive 1. Perfect. So there's our pieces of information there. Let's go on to the next one. Number 3 is done. Going on to number 4. We want to get the variable y all by itself. So first, let's get rid of this -2x. So we need to move that -2x to the other side. What should I do to move that -2x? How can I move that -2x? What is the opposite of -2x? Go ahead and type in the chat or turn your microphone on. What is the opposite of -2x? Awesome. The opposite of -2x is positive 2x or plus 2x. So add 2x to both sides. So these cancel out. Bring down this 3y, your equal sign. And then how should I write this 9 plus 2x? How can I write them side by side? Go ahead and write that in the chat, or you can turn your microphone on. How should I write that? Should I write it as 9 plus 2x? Or should I put 2x plus 9? Remember, you want to put like slope-intercept form here. Should I write 9 plus 2x, or should I write 2x plus 9? And you can turn your microphone on if you want, or you can type it in the chat.
2x plus 9.
Perfect. Awesome. So we're going to first do our term with the x, which is the 2x, then the 9. And it's a positive 9, so I put a plus sign in front of it. And let's keep on going. We need to get rid of that 3. We know we can read this as 3 times y, so I'm going to do the opposite. Divide by 3 on both sides, and then just split it up on the right side. So these 3's cancel out. Then we have our y equals. Let's go ahead and simplify our fractions if we can. This 2 over 3, 2 divided by 3, I cannot do that like to get a pretty number. It ends up coming out as a decimal. So let's just leave it as the fraction, the 2 over 3, and then just bring down the variable x. So I just kept my fraction, I rewrote it, that's fine. And then let's try our other fraction. This positive 9 divided by 3, can I do 9 divided by 3? What is 9 divided by 3? You tell me, what is 9 divided by 3?
3.
Awesome, it is positive 3. So now this is in slope-intercept form. We can write out m equals b equals, where m is the number in front of x, and for this one, it's the fraction, the 2 over 3. And b is the y-intercept, and for this one, it's a positive 3. Okay, let's keep on going. That was number 4. Going on to number 5. Our goal is to get the variable y all by itself, so I need to get rid of this 2 that's next to it. We know we can read that as 2 times y. So I'm going to do the opposite. Divide by 2 and split it up on the right side. Divide by 2. So these 2's cancel out. Then we have our y equals, and let's check our fractions. Can I do negative 1 divided by 2? Or should I just rewrite the negative 1 over 2? Should I divide or rewrite? Go ahead and type in the chat or turn your microphone on. Should I divide or should I rewrite? Remember, you do not want any decimals when you're doing this. Awesome, good idea. We're going to just rewrite this negative 1 over 2 and then bring down the variable x. Now let's look at our next one. This negative 8 divided by 2, should I divide or should I rewrite?
Divide.
Awesome, let's go ahead and divide. Negative divided by positive is negative, and then 8 divided by 2 is 4. So now we've got our slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. Let's write out m equals b equals, where m is the number in front of x. And for this one, it's the negative 1 over 2. And b is everything after the x. And for this one, it's a negative 4. Okay, now number 5 is all finished. We got m, our slope is negative 1/2, and b, the y-intercept, is negative 4. Number 6, last one all together. So our goal was to get the variable y all by itself. We need to move this negative 4 to the other side, but before we do that, look over here. We have the parentheses that we need to get rid of first. How can I get rid of these parentheses? What is this property called? It starts with a D.
Distributed property.
Awesome. We're going to go ahead and distribute. So when you distribute, are we adding, subtracting, multiplying, or dividing when you distribute? What operation do you use when you distribute?
Multiplying.
Awesome. We're going to multiply. Let's go ahead and do that. My first jump, the negative 3 times x. It's just negative 3x. And then my next jump, negative 3 times negative 3. Negative times a negative is positive, and then 3 times 3 is 9. And then just copy down the rest of the problem, the y minus 4. Now that we got rid of the parentheses on the right side, now we can help isolate that variable y. Let's get rid of that negative 4. The opposite of negative 4 is positive 4, or add 4 to both sides. But there's a tricky part here. Where should I put the plus 4? Should I put the plus 4 under the negative 3x, or should I put it under the positive 9? Which one is the like term? Should I put the plus 4 under the negative 3x, or should I put it under the positive 9? All right, I'm going to put it under the positive 9. So here's my plus 4. Let's erase this one. And let's go ahead and simplify. We have our y equals, I'm just going to bring down this negative 3x. And then let's add, what is 9 plus 4? 9 plus 4 is positive 13. Now it's in slope-intercept form, writing out m equals b equals, where m is the number in front of x. And what's the number in front of x here? This one is the negative 3.
Negative 3.
Perfect. And then what is the number after x? What's b, the y-intercept? Positive 13. Awesome. Thank you. Good job. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom out so you guys can see all this stuff here, all of our notes all together. Okay, so that's all of our notes for today. If you have any questions, you can stay on here and you can ask me questions. But other than that, if you are all done, that's going to be it for today. Tomorrow you're working on Alex, and then on Thursday you have your assignment on this topic that we did today. So if you have questions on this, go ahead and stay on and ask me some questions, or you can send me a message. But if you have no questions for me and you are all finished for today, you can go ahead and log off and then just work on Alex tomorrow. And then I will see you guys again on Thursday. Okay?